Right. Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to tonight's live. Good to see y'all. Good to see you, Kirsten. Let me know that you are here. Love to know where you're from. Tonight is a little bit different. I'm doing something different, right? I am doing channeled messages for the month. In my mind, I'm going to do these at the top of every month. But if you know me, you know I am team. Let's try it out. Let's see how I feel about it and then determine if I'm going to do it or not, right? So I'm at least committed to January, February, and March, right? To see, you know, if I like it. And if not, I mean, if I do, I will keep going. So if you are new, hi, I'm Dr. Latoya Davis, Oracle and spiritual teacher, and this is Soul Aligned Living, where we talk about all things spirituality, universal laws, ancestors, pretty much things to help you live a life of alignment and get unstuck, right? So the places where we are operating in limiting beliefs, my thing is to kind of bring that information to you so that you can disengage and live the life that lights you up from the inside out. Hi, Unchained Ace, or Ada, Marietta, Georgia. Um, so that's who I am. That's what we do. All right. And tonight we are looking at the energy of January. So this is January 2026. Cool. January 2026. So that's what we're looking at. Before we dive into that, I'm just going to give you some announcements because I forget once I get into the show. So I wrote them down so that I don't forget them this time. Where are my notes? Notes. All right. So first, like, subscribe, and share, right? I always forget that one. Should be at the top of mine. It really does help me, right? So go ahead, like, subscribe, and share. I see new people hopping on, so feel free to jump into the chat. Tell me you're here. And then this is just some things that are coming up over the next few weeks in case you're not on my mailing list and you don't get the emails, okay? But you could also get on my mailing list so that you know when we have something happening. So next week, Tuesday, well, I guess I should start big picture first. So my 6-week Inner Alchemy, which is a 6-week coaching program for self-mastery and empowerment, is open. We start January 29th for that. It is 6 weeks of me showing up, teaching in a very small group cohort. You get coaching. We dive into the things that are keeping you stuck, right? It's about helping you understand who you are at soul level so that you can understand your energy, protect your energy, disengage from programs and limiting beliefs and all of that stuff that you've been running. So that program starts January 29th. But next week, Tuesday, I am doing a live informational on YouTube. It's free, of course, because it's on YouTube, right? Informational from 12. We started at 12. It's only going to be like 30 minutes. All right. And then Wednesday night is Ask Me Anything. So if you missed, I will be doing Ask Me Anything every month. Ask Me Anything is where you get to ask questions and I answer them. I'm here for, well, last week I think it was about an hour and a half, or last month it was about an hour and a half. So probably about that much time, right? If people have questions, generally I will be on to answer them. If you have a question, you can drop it to this website, chihealinginstitute.com/ask. If you don't want to, ask it during the call, you can send it ahead of time to that. Let me just try it again. You can send it ahead of time to that link. Okay. I don't know why my words have just escaped me. So that's next week, Wednesday. All right. And then the last event that's coming up is the week after that is the free live activation. So each month we do a free live activation, and this month's theme is ancestral collaboration. All right. Again, that's free. You can register for that at this site here. You'll get a workbook, pre and post. Love to have you. They're always amazing. So those are my announcements. I will probably say those again throughout the night, but that's how we are starting off. All right. Hi, Live 5 Diva. Nice to have you join us. So I'm going to start with kind of just big picture overview for the energy of January. Towards the end, I will also take questions. Like if you have specific questions, again, I don't normally do like, is my man going to leave me type of thing, right? But if you have questions around what's happening for the energy for January, absolutely feel free to drop them in the chat and I will respond if I can get a read on you specifically, right? Or just kind of big picture. I will absolutely do that. Hey, Kirsten, and not W2026. No T, I don't know. The acronym, it be getting me. I'll be trying. All right. So here we go. Big picture. I'm going to start with big picture and then I will bring it in. Okay. And these big picture things are things that I have noticed already from, sorry, y'all. They're stuck in my seat. Things that I've noticed just from working with people and talking with people. So how things go sometimes for me is I start to realize that there is a theme between the clients that I'm getting or just downloads that I'm receiving when I'm walking. And it's like at a point, my mind starts to say, wait a minute, this thing has showed up for you like quite a few times, varying capacities. So then that makes me start like locking in on that particular energy to see the thread, all right, to understand how that thread is going to kind of carry out. One of the things that has been like crystal clear for me for this month is that this is not the month to really jump into things, like to make rash decisions, to be quick, right? To be quick. And there's a difference between surety and intentionality and quick and rash, right? So this is the month where if something doesn't feel right, you're questioning it, something feels a little bit off, it is absolutely okay to ask for more time, to ask for more questions. They're also saying that this is the month to get really good about asking questions, to not feel ashamed with asking questions. You know how somebody comes to you and they give you an offer, or they may say something, and because either you don't want to appear that you don't know, or you feel like some type of, I don't know, you feel like some type of guilt or shame, or it's like, oh, what are they going to think if I ask this? So then you don't ask it. This month is the month where like things can really get lost in the clarity. So it is super, super beneficial for you to ask the question, ask the question until you feel clear that you have the information that you need so that you can make a choice, so that you could feel good about the decision, so that whatever the thing is, okay, be okay with asking the question. Also, be okay with asking the question, and I don't know why they're harping on this question thing. I'm sure I'll get to it in a second. Asking the question in multiple ways. So I'm working on this assessment right now, right? And the assessment, essentially, I ask the same question in like 5 different ways, right? And why do I do that? Because sometimes, one, it's easy for someone to say something the first time when they hear it a certain way. And when you switch up the language, particularly if they're not being truthful or they're not coming from a place of sincerity or honesty, it is difficult for them to continue to give the same version of the response if you ask the question in multiple ways, right? So they're bringing here that they're using the example of like a cloak, something that cloaks things. So when you look at it at first, it may appear in a particular way, but when you like, lift it, shake it, go to the side, like you can see it at different angles. And so this month is about discernment. That's the word. That is the word that they are giving to offer for this month, using your discernment, tapping into your discernment, and not feeling bad or guilty when you do that. Again, going back to a little bit for it, not feeling guilty about being slow and making decisions. As it relates to tapping into kind of the energy of the world. This is also a time to not lend they're saying, don't lend your energy to the going ons of the world. Okay. Don't lend your energy to the going ons of the world. Now, I know that we are citizens of this place, and so we have to be in the place, right? We are of the place, but it's a different to be, what's that? They say, you can be of the world and not in it, or should you be in the world and not of it? I don't remember. But this is the time to like really be mindful of how you are engaging with the things that you don't have control over. It's almost like, this is my bubble, right? These are the things that I can control that are in the nexus of my bubble. And if I can't really control or impact or make shift about the things that are in the nexus of my bubble, how much energy do I expend? How much energy do I put into this thing? Now, this is different than like, shutting down and not caring about the ills and stuff of other people, because we're all connected. And so because there is this kind of interconnectedness amongst everyone, this isn't about like not being compassionate, not caring, not understanding what's happening in the world at large, but this is, how are you spending your energy? How are you giving your energy to this thing? Are you allowing it to take bandwidth from you that you can actually be using to put towards the things that you need to do in your life and move your life forward? After you have ranted and vented on the internet for an hour about a topic that you can't change or shift, can you then get that hour back that you've used to put towards the thing that you want? And you can't. So there are going to be a lot of what they're calling minor and big distractions that are coming, like at local level, globally, internationally. And we know because we've seen these things, right? But there are going to be a lot of these types of distractions that will give you the opportunity to pour your energy into it in those ways. But ask yourself at the end of the day, how is this serving me? Which then brings me to being really intentional about like your intention for the month. Okay. And I did I did a email about this. Sorry, y'all. When I'm crossing between receiving and still talking in my regular voice, sometimes my words get a little bit they get choppy. I did an email, or my thing that was about January, or for this year, was about setting a word that would carry you through the year. So they're bringing this back a little bit, but specifically giving you something to anchor you into this month of January, again, to kind of help you not be focused and shift. They're bringing me to money now. This month is a good time to like sow, to give, not at the expense of exuberance. Is that the right word? I guess so. Not at the rate or the expense of exuberance, but from a genuine place, from a place of really understanding that reciprocity is the nature, right? And they're saying that it doesn't even have to be monetary. It can be time, it can be energy, it can be effort, it can be talking to stop to somebody, but really allowing this month to be about identifying ways that you can be into the energy of sowing into other people, into other things, into other ways, right? And you will see that come back. The effects of January is slow. What do I mean by that? You will not see, for the most part, people who are like really locked in. They're saying locked into the grid. So, and by that, it's like people who are really already tapped into kind of this like manifestation cycle, right? This idea and this understanding of I don't like that word. Um, the people who are already locked in will continue to see things to unfold quickly. But for the majority, they're saying the majority of the people who are listening, this is not the month that you will necessarily see really quick manifestations, but don't get discouraged by that. January is almost like they're using the phrase like waking a sleeping giant, right? So it's like when you are waking that giant, it moves slow, right? It's like it's figuring out what feels comfortable. Okay, got to get my limbs moving. Okay, wait. Okay, wait. Now I'm good on my 2 feet. Okay, now I'm standing up tall. So January, the energy of January is like that sleeping giant, which goes back to do not be fast to make decisions. Do not be rash in accepting things. Ask questions, get clarity. It's literally like trying on the new suit, right? Figuring it out, seeing how energetically the body adapts to this new phase that we're entering in. And don't be dismayed because it's moving slow, because it's literally like planting and getting that footing firm so that by the time we enter into the second, they use the word, that's not a word. It's like the second the second phase of this year. By the time we enter into the second phase of this year, it's like things are like this. So this time is about planting slowly. January is also they're coming here a good time to befriend water. Using water. Haha, that's funny because I've just done like 3 things around water, right? I did the video on spiritual baths. I did something else where I talked about, I've done like 3 things where I've talked about water. And so this is also proof for me that like when I get, so half the time when I'm like those things that I'm talking about or I'm coming, I am in flow, right? So it's like I'll have my notes. I say, what are we going to talk about? Okay, these are the things. But again, for me, I don't necessarily need to know how things connect because I trust the information and the downloads that I get. So I typically am less concerned about the like, why is this coming up now? Right. But then they always, without fail, show me how the things sync up. So I would say January month, energy of water is going to be really, really good for you using that in various ways. Also respecting the energy of water is what they're bringing up here. Respecting the energy of water. Water will, just talking about like cleansing the earth, cleansing, cleansing environments. So this could be like lots of heavy rains in some places. This could be like unexpected, like water things that happen. And so respecting the energy of water this month. We should respect the energy of water all the time, but specifically that's coming up for this month. The last thing I think, the last thing that's coming here is they're bringing the word is they're all variations of the same theme. So they're talking about this energy of like newness. And this is tied more into this idea of moving into 2026 and the energy of the one, right? What they're likening it to is the energy of a baby, right? And again, this is that like the baby is like, oh, what's this? Okay, wait, is it safe to do this? So again, this is that like that discernment. But for you as the person managing the energy, right? How do you show up to manage and take care of this energy? Knowing, this is the part that they want you to know, knowing that that thing is going to grow into something great. As long as you put the effort and the dedication, as long as you till the soil well, right? When it's in that infancy stage, when it gets to the part where it's growing and it's walking and it's developing, like that's when you get to see the fruits of it. But if you're lazy here, lazy was my word, not their word. Their word was unintentional. I changed it to lazy. If you're unintentional in this period and in this phase, then you will reap the benefits of that unintentionality later. All right. So this is really just a call for mindfulness, and discernment. Okay. That is what they are offering in this moment for January. I'm just scanning the field to see if there's anything else that wants to come through before I take a look at the chat. Um, okay, this last thing. Okay, so I talked about this cloaking, right? And how things can kind of have this cloak on them, and so you got to kind of inspect and look. It might appear one way and look up, appear one way on the surface, but once you dig in it, it can look a little bit differently. This is also this idea of this. It's almost like a collective mask, right? But this one here, they're talking. It's like it can make people very aloof, right? So almost, remember I said the energy is like that slow. It's that slow energy. So people cannot have that. Like New York for me is like the epitome of 10 times too fast, right? It's like what is happening? New York and Lagos, Nigeria. I'd be like, oh my gosh, because Lagos to me is like 1,000 times faster than New York, right? So that like frenetic thing that happens, right? And when you don't have that type of energy and you encounter that energy, it's like, whoa. But they're saying the month of January, like even things that are normally like will have a slight, calming effect to it. But it's because of this like covering, this mask, this thing. And so again, this goes back to like asking questions, using discernment. Don't take things at face value. Okay. Um, and the word, they keep coming back to the word aloof, aloof. So I'm not getting more around that in this moment. Just that's the word though. So we'll take that. It's in my cap. I'm sure something else will come through around that, or that may be for something very specific or for someone very specific. So, but around people being aloof who may normally not, it's almost like a um a flip, right, of how people act and how they normally are. And they're showing like this flip then could cause you to be like, well, no, what's wrong? Like then it causes you to kind of overdote and over give and over all of the things because you're like, but wait, what just happened? Right? I did something. Let me figure out. And they're like, no, it's not you. Like you don't shift, you don't adjust, you don't give into the dog and pony show, right? Again, just understand what's happening right now. Understand what's happening right now. Your bubble, what can I control? These are the things, discernment, ask questions. All right. So I think that's it. Um, okay. Um, so if you have, hey, okay, say I'm back. Let me grab some water myself. I bet the sound of me drinking is really amplified. I hope it's not. I hope it's not. Um, um, so I think we got some new people since I am now looking back. Hey, Lotus Mindset 88. Hey, Smiling Happily 6190. Bug Naya Blasted 8783. I am blessed 82. Hey, Kirsten 1022. I already spoke to you. Good to see you though. So let me know, do y'all have some specific questions or things that you want me to kind of talk about or tap into? Yeah. I'm so self-conscious about like extra noises and stuff when I'm doing these things. And like I heard myself drinking, Um, yes, happy new year or happy, collective idea of new year, right? Um, if you are just joining me, let me just recap really quickly. Like, subscribe, share. Next week, Tuesday, there is a live Q&A. If you are interested in my Inner Alchemy program. Next Wednesday is Ask Me Anything. So if you have questions that you want me to talk about for Ask Me Anything, you can go ahead and submit those between now and next week, Wednesday morning. Or you can jump on with me live. I love the questions live. And then the following week is our next activation, which is around ancestral collaboration and alignment. So you can register for that. Those are typically an hour. I teach for the first half. We do some type of activity, and then I do an activation around whatever the topic is, right? They are in flow, they're in energy, they're in the moment. So yeah, I can tell you what the topic is, but how it actually, comes up, I follow the energy. All right. So we have Kristen said the past few years, my activations at the Black Spirit Solstice Summit cracked her open, and she hasn't been able to look back. I love that. I love that. Right. Once we know, we can't. Once you know, you can't act like you don't know. That's the beauty. That is the beauty. Second Chance Release now says getting past the inability to connect with the Akashic records and ancestors. Give me a little bit more. Second Chances released now. Okay, how to get past. Okay. So the question, as I am processing the question, is how do you get past not being able to access the Akashic records and hear the ancestors? And this is big picture, right? This isn't for you specifically. They're also, remember, I just talked about the energy for this particular month. And that like sleepy, somebody just said anybody else sleeping off, that quiet kind of, lethargic, laid back type of covering energy. I'm not saying this to be discouraging. I am saying this to say that the energy of January or the energy that is presenting for January is not the easiest time to connect with things that are outside of this dimension. Does that mean that it cannot happen? No, that is not what I'm saying. So I'm really trying to watch my words here, because I don't want to be discouraging, and I don't want to if you have a practice of connecting and tapping in and receiving information and downloads and all of that stuff, business as usual, right? This month, for a few soul groups, I'm not going to go into that, but for a few soul groups, just because of how their energy is slightly oriented differently than kind of the larger landscape here in the world, they will have heightened connectivity, right? Heightened dreams, heightened ability to kind of move through dimensions. But for the majority of us, that energy, that slowness is still there. That veil, that cloaking, that thing is still there. And so this month is a good time to build the habit, to build the practice, to build the consistency and develop the ritual and the protocol, right? So what do I mean? I mean, if I'm saying that I am trying to establish a relationship with my ancestors, this month is a great time to say, okay, what is that going to look like for me? Okay, on Mondays, I'm going to go and say a prayer. I'm going to give water. I'm going to do an offering. I'm going to, before I go to bed, say something, right? And then I'm going to stick to that, right? This is the great time to set the habit, set the intention, and then follow through with it. Okay. The Akashic records. My intention is to always talk about in my classes, and even, in like the book and stuff that I have, it's like that first 21 days is like what I call like this acclimation period, right? So this is where we're not necessarily we don't expect much. It's like you go in, this is about you becoming acclimated to the field. So this month is a good time to say, you know what? I am intentional and I'm committed to being able to communicate and access these various, dimensions and portals and skills and energy layers, right? And this is my no pressure month. There's no pressure. I'm going to open my records and I'm just going to sit in the field. I'm just going to be in the energy of the field. I'm just going to go to my ancestors. I'm just going to sit in front of my ancestors. Okay. And why am I saying that? Because again, the cloaking that is the energetic cloaking that's happening during this month, if you are not already skilled at that, it can really make it feel like you're like trudging through sludge to get to something. And I don't want you to feel discouraged by that particular energy. I just want you to know that that's the energy that is there. But it doesn't mean that you don't do anything or that you don't take action. It just means that you're taking action and you're being in the action of understanding what's going on and what's happening. And building the ritual and building the practice now says that, again, when we come out on the other side of it, those things are already instilled and now you're ready to go. Okay. But in general, I have a course on learning to access your Akashic records, right? There's an on-demand course at my website. And I have 2 books that also walk you through being able to access your records. Trying to vibrate higher, 3-day water fast, asking for more clarity. Yes. Anxious, panicky feeling. Okay, I'm gonna go through these. Speaking of water, if doing a water fast, is it best to drink out of glass cups instead of plastic bottles? And should we speak to our water first before drinking? So in general, do you need me or are you just coming down?
No, I was just drinking water.
Okay. So in general, I am slightly in my own personal home. I am the health police, but I don't manage other people's health, right? So, but in general, plastic has microplastics and all of the things, right? So it is better, if you're able to drink out of a glass. But specifically, when we're talking about doing things for health purposes, you want the materials that you use. And this is like past, and we're talking about water, but this is in general. You want the materials that you use to be as not healthy, I'm sorry, as organic. I changed the word, or I tried to change the word organic because I'm not talking about the marketing term organic, right? But as close to as this thing was presented in nature as possible, right? So that definitely is not plastic. But yes, to speaking into the water. So going back again to one of the videos that I did talking about how water holds the imprint of things, right? And so when we speak into our water, when we give that intention to our water, it absolutely codes, CODES, codes the water, right? And then as we're drinking that, it is absolutely informing us on a cellular level. And we are getting the benefit of that particular coding, right? It's almost a reinforcement. Another thing that you could also do is if you have like I have like a glass jug, those like jugs, and you can write on your glass jug your intentions, some affirmations, some positive statements. If you can't write on the jug or if you're using plastic or whatever, you can get like a piece of paper, right? Write the thing on the paper, and then like tape, yes, tape the paper around the container or the jug, right? So again, infusing that into there. You can write it on the paper and put the jug on top of it, or the water bottle. So those are all ways that you can kind of energetically also infuse things into the water. But speaking into the water is absolutely recommended, because again, water holds memory. There's a book by this man, Hiroshima, that's not his name. What is about water? Let me see if I can I haven't read it in so long. And now that I say that, I think I let somebody borrow my book, and it is not in my life because I could see it. Water book. Okay, y'all, sorry. I thought this was gonna be fast, but on my phone, like you can't type fast. Okay. I'll find it. I'll tag it I'll drop it in it is a Japanese man. Is it called the Spirit of Water? Let me see. I don't know. I'll find it. I'll drop it in the thing. So y'all not just watching my the top of my head. I say that, but I also have a slightly compulsive side. So once I start something, it also can become slightly difficult for me to let it go. Yes. Okay. The Spirit of Water, The Hidden Messages for All of Us by no, this is the guy. Masuru Emoto. So then that makes me say Masuru Masuru Emoto. Y'all, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. The Hidden Messages in Water. The Hidden Messages in Water by Masuru Emoto. Anyway, great book. Um, great book. The other one that I just said, he wrote the forward, but that's not his book. The one that I'm talking about is called The Hidden Messages in Water. So all of that to say, it's a great book to help you understand what's happening and how you can use water and infuse water and why it works. Okay. So your sink water isn't safe, so we drink bottled water. Yeah, I mean we don't drink our tap water either. I have I bought like a ceramic, one of those dispenser things, a ceramic one, um, to run the water through. And then even this water, because I like a particular type of water, I just poured it in my glass. So I get it. Um, all right, y'all. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Her book. If y'all don't have nothing else for me. Oh wait, okay, I missed some things. I like that no pressure month. I appreciate the clarity, the gentle approach. Good. Okay. And yes. Lotus Mindset says sometimes she just sits in the Akashic records even if nothing comes through. That really is so this isn't about Akashic records, but the Akashic records is an energetic field, right? And because it's an energetic field, just being in that energy literally does something to you, right? And sometimes the difficulty that we have in accessing clearly is it's an energy mismatch, right? And so the body, the physical body, the mental body is literally catching up to the field. And so sometimes that's why the distortion is there. Sometimes why it's slow. Sometimes that's why all of those things. And so there is benefit in just going and sitting. The key in all of it, in any communication, no matter who we're communicating with, the ancestors, the angels, the Orisha, the whatever it is to not give up. Because all of it is a muscle. All of it becomes better is with practice. So I have an Amazon store. And the water book, which I forgot the name of it just that fast. The Hidden Messages of Water. The Hidden Messages of Water is is on my Amazon link. So I will also drop that into the description here, and you can get it from there. Do I have any methods? Oh, okay. So I missed it. A few people in the chat mentioned that their sleep has been off. Is there something to that? Give me a second. So there are a few different answers to that particular question. Um, some and why there are a few, because everyone, the sleep is off for different reasons. Some people are responding to like the energy of the cosmos, right? So some people are responding to the literal shifting of the world in the axis, or the axis in the world. But what they're bringing me to here though is that some people are actually having sleep disturbances because they they are struggling with release. Like, you're holding on to they're showing me if you have something, like, what is that thing, like when it's like a ball and chain, like when something is wrapped around your ankle and you're like trying to drag this thing, you're trying to drag this thing into this place that it's not supposed to go, right? So again, it's creating this resistance. It's like this fatigue. It's like all of this wear and stress and strain on the body. And they're saying that a lot of people are carrying things or trying to carry things into this new phase, into this new dimension, into this new reality that don't need to go. And so they're saying you're using like your waking days, like almost in a state of avoidance. And then when you go to sleep or during that time when you're trying to go to sleep, those things are like bubbling up and surfacing. And they're offering doing journaling, right? To get into the things that are like under, they're saying the undercurrent, right? The undercurrent of things, but also that some of it is top of mind. Like they're like some of it isn't even under the thing, right? It's just an unwillingness to let things go. And it's coming up at night when you're sleeping. And that's part of the thing that's creating the disturbance. And so if you would be willing to look at the things that you are not wanting to let go, those things that you're holding on, literally they're showing like this dragging of stuff, right? This like dragging of it's like just let it go. You will see how much better your sleep will be. There's less emphasis there. They're bringing me back to the people who are actually being impacted by the shifting of kind of the world and the axis. And for those people, what they're offering is it looks like moonstone. I think this is a moonstone. Hold on. Yeah. You can use moonstone. If you're into crystals, right? If you're into crystals, you can use a moonstone by your bed, and you're gonna ask the moonstone to almost like act as a sleep um um meditative. That's not the right that's the word, but that's not the right word. That's not how I need to translate it. Um So what they're let me just do it how they're showing me. So I don't have what do I have? What do I have here? Okay, this is oh here we go. This is the amethyst. And we're gonna pretend this is my moonstone. Okay. So they're showing like you would get your moonstone, and it's like before you go to bed, you're basically you can talk into it, right? You're setting your intentions. Um Good sleep, clear dreams, no dreams, whichever. Ascension, elevation, soul to release fully, come back, whatever that thing is, right? And then you talk about it, you hold it, you pray, and then you're gonna just kind of touch the various points in the body, and then just leave it kind of next to the bed. And they're showing that it almost acts like a suction, right? A suction while you're sleeping. So moonstone, but that's for those people who are being cosmically impacted. But again, the majority they're saying is not about that. It's about things that you all are carrying and you're not letting go or being willing to let go. And so also during those times when you wake up and you're being disturbed, that's also a really good time to write, to write, to write, to write, or to speak. Um, all right. Running out of candles again. Do I have any methods for practicing temperance? That is a great question. I'm answering this is me, Toya, answering this. I think so. I was on the social media today and somebody played a clip, or there was a clip that played from the monks walking through Atlanta. I think it was Atlanta. Because Atlanta, I have been over the last few weeks. My running thought has been Atlanta is literally a different place. Like it is not. Atlanta is not real. Like I know people say that, but I've been there a couple times over last, and I was just like, Atlanta is not a real place. Like the stuff that is happening here is crazy. But anyway, show the clip of the monks walking through Atlanta, and somebody had a sign, and this guy confronted the monk. And the guy that confronted the monk was talking about how the monk was going to go to hell. And, he was walking in the hell and this wasn't Christian. And the monk was like, I'm literally not doing anything. I'm walking. Right. And the guy kept basically being like, I love you. And because I love you, I have to tell you that you're going to go to hell. And what you're doing is, the devil's work. I'm putting the words in, but this is essentially what was happening, right? And the monk just, for me, the monk's disposition and response and all of that to me was like, he's so locked in to his purpose, path, and mission that nothing else can put him off of his square. Right. And what that did to me was it made me think about, people always ask me, how can I do ... Right. It's like, well, how do you not get caught up in this? Or how do you manage, particularly like when we had the retreat and there are like so many people and everybody's having their experiences and doing their thing. And it's like, how do you not get caught up in that? And I'm like, for me, because I give everyone the grace of being who they are and how they are. And because that is my leading thought at all times, it absolutely allows me to not lock in, be attached to whatever it is that they have going on. Right. So for me, this idea of like temperance really is when I'm focused on me, my path, my purpose, my mission, it allows everything else to be minuscule in nature. Right? It's literally like, oh, okay, you don't want that? Okay, great. You don't want that? Oh, okay, fine. And then also, this is the other thing, because I am connected globally to so many, like, because I'm not an empath. I am not an empath. I can be empathic, right? I have the ability to tap in and feel the energy and things of things, but that is not my thing. But because I am because I'm fully conscious, and aware of my connection to things, events, and people, sometimes the energy of things can be overwhelming. Like if I allowed myself to be in that, it could be overwhelming, right? So because of that, I've also had to learn how to like pull my energy in so that it's not attached to so many things. Okay? It's not attached to so many things. And just by like those types of conscious things of saying path, purpose, mission, boom. This person has their path, purpose, mission. It's not my job to understand it. It's not my job to change it. It's not my job to try to influence it. It's not my job to do any of those things. My job is to be my thing. And if our paths match and meet, then I will be in service in that particular way. Okay. But it just allows for a detachment. And then the conscious awareness that this is really shiny. And then the conscious awareness that I have to detach. So I don't know if that answered your question or not. I don't have the tool literally is mindfulness. I don't know if mindfulness is a tool, but that's the tool. Mindfulness. It is mindfulness, right? It is understanding the things that cause you to I want cause the trigger, right? Cause the thing that you don't want. Identify how that's showing up, when that's showing up, why that's showing up, and then to like diffuse it through conscious choice and action. Okay. Um, Trying to figure out how to not make rash decisions. Um, Breathing, awareness, right? I always joke like I am team burn it down and figure it out later. Right? That can absolutely be my energy. I can be like, right? Um, and so I've had to learn that one, I've had to learn that there are better approaches, right? That aspect is absolutely still in me, right? It is absolutely still in me. If you try my kids, I promise you we will be on scorched earth. Okay. We will be on scorched earth. But outside of that, I can take a moment. I can take a moment. And oftentimes, this is what they're bringing in to me now to offer to you. Oftentimes, what's happening when we are in those decisions of moments of rash decision making, or moments of needing to like hold on or manage or be triggered by someone else, is because we're in the energy of our ego, right? It's because we're in the energy of our ego, and we're in the energy of a particular program or conditioning that has happened that says that if I do this, the perception of me is this. And because I don't want to be perceived this way, then I must now do this, right? And that all of those things are not true at soul level, because again, at soul level, the soul says, I'm good how and where I am. And I know that everything that is for me and will come to me. I don't have to rush. I don't have to push. I don't have to pull, right? The soul lives in this energy and in this moment of knowing. And because when we're in alignment and operating from our true soul self, and we're in this moment in this energy of knowing, the impetus to act on those impulses that are worldly, or that are ego driven or program driven, become lessened, which is why taking those moments to stop and tap in and breathe and check in with ourselves, to allow the soul self to come forward, helps you to live in that energy that you're talking about, to live in that energy of not making rash decisions. Affirm to yourself, um, affirm to yourself that affirm to yourself that my soul always knows the right choice. And then allow that knowing to inform whatever the next step is. So when you find yourself in the space of getting ready to make one of those rash decisions, take a moment, breathe, say that to yourself, affirm it to yourself, slow down. They're saying slow down your breathing, slow down your nervous system, so that you can drop out of the the thinking that is led by the world, and drop into the knowing that is being led by the part of you that knows that everything is already perfect. And then allow yourself to give the answer, or to not give the answer, but to take that moment and affirm for yourself in that way. They're offering here also that we are oftentimes pushed or driven. Push was my word. We are oftentimes driven to things that derail us or do not serve us, because we, even in the moment of like saying the thing or doing the thing, feel like we can't pull it back. It's like you'll say, yes, I will go to dinner with you. And as soon as it comes out of your mouth, you'll have this knowing that says, oh, that's not the good choice. But because you are afraid to be perceived in a particular way, you will continue to push through with the thing that you said. And they're saying that there is just as much strength in being able to say no, or change your mind, or come into the alignment of your knowing and stand in that, as it takes more strength to do that than it does to go forward. And you will see how much less you even have to come into, like when you allow that change and that willingness to change to show up, you'll notice like you won't even have to fight. They're saying like these these moments where you have to exhibit temperance, right? Or where you have to like breathe through the decision. Because those moments in those instances, if you think back, have probably come after you had an internal thing that also said don't. And then you did. And so now you have to deal with the effects from the cause that could have been shifted. So lean into your own knowing and be okay with making a different choice, even if you've already said the first thing. I hope that was helpful. All right, let me scroll back up. I have a beautiful water bottle in my Soft Girl Healing Amazon list. Yes. Yes, for the water. Yes. Um, oh, thank you. I don't know how to do this. Like, thank you, Unchained Ace. I appreciate my super sticker. I'm supposed to know how to like put it on the screen, but I don't know how to do that yet, y'all. I'm just getting into this thing. Let's see what else we got here. Facts. Don't put my yes. Thank you for explaining what the issue could be with the sleep disturbance. Explanation brought clarity and took me back when mine started and why. Yes, good. I'm glad to hear that. Been consciously monitoring my thoughts to cut down my negative spiraling. It's been very enlightening because I'm working on change and my mind keeps trying to create old scenarios. Yes. Yes. The awareness thing is huge, right? Y'all know I always say we do not write a book in a day. Okay. I don't just say, "Whoo, I'm going to write a book," and then there it is, right? It starts with the word, which turns into a sentence, which turns into a paragraph, which turns into a page, into a chapter, into a book. Okay. So when we are developing a habit, changing, redoing something, understand that it is bit by bit, right? As the old Yoruba proverb, bit by bit, we eat the head of the elephant. All right. All right, y'all. So one more time, my little spiel, like, comment, subscribe. See you all next Tuesday. If you're interested in inner alchemy, again, that is my 6-week program, small group coaching program where we dive into energetics, all of the things that we've talked about today, right? Self-mastery. How do we identify and create new habits around things? Where are we learning about old programs that might be running? How do we replace those things? All of that happens inside of inner alchemy. And we go into like ways to actually kind of start to detach from this grid here that we are living in. So informational for that next Tuesday. Next Wednesday is Ask Me Anything Live. So this is where you get to bring all of the questions, right? All of the questions. Next week, Ask Me Anything Live. And then the following week is our live activation. So I'm just going to throw those banners back up. If you have a question for Ask Me Anything, that is that. For the live activation, let's see. Activation. And then if you are interested in learning about inner alchemy, this is the link for that website. All right. So until next time, let me just make sure I don't have anything else that I missed. Yes. Go ahead, Hillary. Hit the replay and let me know what you think in the comments. All right. So until next time, also tell me, y'all, do you think I should do this again? So remember, if you weren't here at the top of tonight's live, I said that, I am team try something out, right? I'll get it. I'm like, okay, let's see if I like this. So in my mind right now, at the top of each month, I will do this kind of, again, channeled message that talks about the energy for the month. So we'll see how it goes. I've said I'm committed to January, February, and March, right? So I'm committed to Q1, and then we'll see what happens after that. All right. So if you liked it, if you got benefit, thank you. Second Chances Release Now said absolutely. Smiling Happily said yes, do it again. Preed 6937 said absolutely. Okay, so y'all seem to like it. We'll see what happens. I will be here. So right now my schedule is the first Wednesday of the month is the channeled messages. Second Wednesday of the month is Ask Me Anything. Third Wednesday of the month is just a live show. So it'll be a topic and I'll kind of talk about that. And then the fourth Wednesday of the month is a special guest. This fourth Wednesday, I'm super excited because we will be talking about spirituality and sensuality, right? This idea of how, again, because of programs, ideas, conditionings, all of that stuff that we conflate, or how our perception of what sensuality needs to look like as it relates to being spiritual beings, and kind of demystifying that and tapping into that, right? So I'm really, really excited about that upcoming on the last week. Last thing, y'all, I forgot. And I only have a few spots available for this. So that's actually why I didn't put it on my list. If you saw my live that I did with Sonia Marie from Word Life Astrology, I'm hosting a masterclass with her on January 22nd, I believe, but there are only a few spots left because it is an interactive class, and small, and she's teaching you how to, do astrology using your personalized natal chart. So we couldn't make it a really big class. So I've given it to my mailing list first. We are at half capacity already. But if you're here tonight and you're interested, right, you can join us. It's on my website if you're interested in that. So you can go head over to the website, which is just chihealinginstitute.com. All right. So until next time, remember, you all deserve to live a life that lights you up from the inside out. Talk to you later. Peace.